John Wayne Bobbitt's penis.
Objection!
Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good evening, everyone. Look at us all back in biz and shiz. Teresa, you are silly. Teresa's telling me jokes in the chat. I thought she really died. Good evening and welcome to J is for Justice. My name is Jay. I am your host. And before we begin tonight's stream on Bryan Kohberger and his parents and the grand jury and everything else that we're going to talk about Idaho 4 related, please hit the like button on this video. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button while you're at it. So today's stream is going to be about Bryan Kohberger's parents and the grand jury. We all heard when this initially happened, and then we heard it quickly retracted. So suddenly it was like it didn't happen. It happened, and then it didn't happen. So it was one of those things that we're left with speculation. Hello, Lisa in the UK. We've got Lisa all the way from the UK across the pond. We've got Nikki Tuples, Nikki Stripper Bowls from Long Island. Wow, Long Island strong with Rex Hewerman. With Rex Hewerman. And I heard that the HM on his belt means Herman Humerman, because of Humerman, he was called Herman Munster. Humerman Munster. Hewerman Munster. Robin says, and weren't we chastised by the media about talking about the grand jury? I don't know. But they sure talked about it, and we're going to get into that. Mama 4 is listening from Southern Cali, where it's hot as hail right now, she says. Hello, Tough Tiff. Tough Tiff was checking out our merch. Check out our merch store. We've got $20 t-shirts every day. And we also have a limited edition tie-dye embroidered J is for Justice shirt. Pretty fucking cool. All right, guys, let's get into today's stream. The first clip we're going to watch is Chris Ingalls, and he went out to Pennsylvania and spoke with some people. And we're going to watch some of this, and we're going to be pausing and discussing as we go.
Pennsylvania, where Bryan Kohberger spent most of his life before moving to Washington State. Tonight, we talked to friends and former classmates to piece together the history of the suspect charged in the Idaho college murders case.
Okay, and I thought it was so interesting they used these fucking crosswalks. This is amazing, okay? Amazing shit. So remember his pullover? You know, in Pennsylvania, the crosswalks. Well, watch the little watch the little video trick they use.
Murders case.
I looked it up. I typed, Idaho murders, and then, like, holy crap, that's Bryan. That's Bryan. I know Bryan. That's wild to me.
This Pennsylvania man has been friends with Kohberger since the 8th grade. How did he get started in drugs?
He got in drugs via an acquaintance of his. It was definitely heroin. It was pretty gnarly.
He reveals the ups and downs of Bryan Kohberger's life. And we'll talk to a college student who says he saw another side to the criminology student turned accused murderer.
Very intense stare. I remember that. I'll never forget that. Looking right into my soul almost, as we were having this back and forth.
Oh my God. Did you hear that? Looking into his soul almost. That's some scary shit.
A prior life. I want to bring in someone who knew him, the suspect personally, Rich Pasqua. You worked with him for a period of time. Rich, what can you tell me?
All right, we're going to talk about Rick in the red flag edition. I think the rest of this is the red flag edition. Hold on.
And overweight in his young.
Yes, this is this is going to be the red flag edition. Sorry. Let's switch gears. We're going to go to Fox Digital. We got all kinds of Kohberger shit going on, but Saturday night, 5 p.m., Saturday afternoon, evening, we're going to be doing Bryan Kohberger, the red flag edition. But tonight is the grand jury. So let's talk about this and let's listen.
Entirely separate case of this missing woman, Dana Smither, and what do they potentially think Bryan Kohberger could have had to do with it?
Well, it's interesting. The police department has said that they have zero evidence. They didn't even qualify that statement. They said they have zero evidence linking that case to Bryan Kohberger. And yet you have a grand jury who is asking to hear testimony from his parents in connection with that case. And so, we're left to speculate because the grand jury connects together in secret. And we don't get to know what it is that they're thinking, and we can only speculate by virtue of the witnesses that are called. So the fact that his parents are being called in connection with that case on what looks like a murder that occurred about 30 miles away from the Kohberger home is certainly subject to speculation.
Jack.
Okay, so she even says it's subject to speculation. It's weird. It's weird, and it doesn't seem right.
When you get a subpoena like the parents did, they tried to fight it.
Okay, that was another ball breaker. They tried to fight it. So the parents didn't even want to go and testify in front of this grand jury. Why? To fight it, though? I mean, wow.
It was unsuccessful. Did they have any grounds to not comply with the subpoena in this? Can you just say, you know what? I'm not going to comply with this. We have no business with this. What are you even talking about? Was that on the table here?
They can't not comply. They'd be found in contempt. Even a suspect doesn't have a right not to appear before a grand jury, and you've seen that litigated in sometimes very complex political questions. So, no, they didn't have a right not to appear before the grand jury and to testify truthfully. And they don't really even have a Fifth Amendment or other kind of privilege not to answer certain questions. They don't have a right to have counsel in the grand jury. And so it's really an opportunity, I think, for the prosecution to gain information about that case if they're so inclined, and it appears that they are.
Now, how interesting is that? How interesting is that? So they wanted to fight it, but there's really no way to get out of it. I think, Robin, you're right. She said if Bryan is guilty, he also victimized his own parents. I think Bryan's been victimizing his parents for a long time.
So I want to put up this statement that we made here from the police department there in Pennsylvania looking into this, the Stroudsburg Police Department saying this.
So the Stroud Area Regional Police Department is aware of the many currently reported news articles in which various media outlets have reported connections between the SARPD's Dana Smithers missing person investigation and Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. The SARPD has no evidence, in all caps, that Dana Smithers' disappearance is in any way, all caps, tied to Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. So, remember, we can be lied to.
They're aware of the many currently reported news articles in which various media outlets have reported connections between Dana Smithers' missing person investigation and the Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. The SARPD has no evidence, all caps, that Dana Smithers' disappearance is in any way, all caps, tied to Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger, to what you were alluding to right off the top there. So you're saying essentially that the Kohberger parents, they could have information, but it has nothing to do with what Bryan Kohberger allegedly did there in Moscow, Idaho.
Well, I mean, I think what's more important is that they're saying at this time they have no evidence, but the parents' testimony is not part of that calculation. And so it's possible that the parents' testimony before the grand jury changes that calculus and they may take a different tack. I think it's really an evidence gathering, a discovery process for the prosecution to have the parents come and testify at this grand jury. It's really, it's a remarkable opportunity really for the prosecution to gain information and to sort of force people who otherwise may feel like they would rather not speak to law enforcement, force them to speak on the record on a case that they're investigating. And so we'll see whether or not there's developments in that cold case.
Yeah.
Okay, so that part was really interesting to me.
Would rather not speak to law enforcement.
That tells me that there's a possibility that Bryan Kohberger's parents haven't spoken to law enforcement. They have a lawyer. They tried to fight having to testify in front of a grand jury. And like she said, maybe that was their way of forcing it, because what's interesting, we're going to find out, is that they did a sharing deal between Pennsylvania and Idaho to share the contents of the grand jury testimonies, or whatever, the grand jury hearing is going to be shared with Idaho from PA. So it could be that his parents were just being non-compliant and not speaking with law enforcement. I'm not sure. I mean, I've never really talked to anybody's parents that has murdered anyone except Chris Watts. And let me tell you, law enforcement didn't want to talk to them. Law enforcement never spoke to them except for when they spoke, they reached out. They weren't interviewed by the DA, none of that stuff. So what this grand jury thing would be is a little baffling. If it's not another person that Bryan Kohberger did something to, what was it? What was found in that home that there was a grand jury proceeding? I mean, you guys have to remember, Dana Smithers went missing a year ago. And they just found her remains in, I think it was March of this year. So was there perhaps DNA found with her remains? Was there something found with her remains, clues into who did this? Why else would his parents be subpoenaed to testify in front of a grand jury and then they don't want to do it? That's what really gets me.
Force them to speak on the record on a case that they're investigating. And so we'll see whether or not there's developments in that cold case.
Yeah, I want to kind of go back to Idaho now and kind of do the flip side, because do you think prosecutors, now that this is going on there in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, do you think they can bring this up in his trial that's coming up in October? Hey, your parents, they were asked questions of in this missing woman's disappearance. We're going to talk about this in Bryan Kohberger's trial. He's stand accused of murdering those 4 University of Idaho students. Could that be in the mix here?
You know, probably not. There's a general rule that evidence of prior misconduct is not admissible to prove conduct in conformity with this character trait, if you will, for...
Okay, so she says that no, whatever is in the Pennsylvania grand jury can't be used against Bryan in Idaho. Robin, Bryan's dad's DNA, they had it from the trash, remember? They already had his DNA from the trash. I still think there's more to this story, man. I can't shake the feeling that there's more. Yeah, thank you, Rare Penny. Don't be lazy like Taylor Shabusiness. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 200 likes. We got 267 in here. And let's get up to 89,000, guys. Let's get to 89,000 subscribers if we can. If you're not subscribed, help me get there. Help me get to 90. That's our mini goal. Our mini goal.
Criminal behavior generally to prove conduct in conformity with that trait in another instance. So in the Idaho case with the 4 alleged victims, Bryan Kohberger is probably not going to have, at least as far as we can tell at this time, any questions or the witnesses on the defense are not going to have to deal with any implications based on what we know so far on this other cold case. Now that could change, of course, because it seems to be in the infancy of the investigation. But
okay.
So far...
So she thinks it's in the infancy of the investigation of Dana Smithers. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, Bryan Kohberger is a suspect in the Dana Smithers murder. When would they charge him? When would they announce that? Oh, Robin, I don't know. I think the FBI got it.
There are exceptions to that general rule that keeps out that kind of called character evidence, which are things like identity, for example. If they want to prove motive, identity, modus operandi, there are many, many exceptions to the general rule. And so if we can show that a crime was committed in largely the same way, that might show some, for example, if there's sort of a mark of Zorro on the body. Either
okay,
side.
So she's saying if there was any kind of, if they were same, like staged the same or, something was done the same.
Awesome.
Because we don't know all of the deal from the Moscow murders. We don't know all of the deets. We could speculate to what the deets are.
You can call the parents or anybody else to testify about the character, the lack of perhaps bad characteristics of Mr. Kohberger, character traits that might be inconsistent with the commission of this kind of a crime to prove his innocence in this case, or vice versa. The prosecution can call witnesses if they think they have evidence of character traits that would be consistent with someone who would commit this kind of crime. And, speculating about whether Mr. Kohberger is going to testify is really difficult. And often we don't know until the trial itself whether our clients are going to testify. Often they're the last witness to testify in the trial because that decision is made game time, really.
Yeah, because I was just lastly, it just seems that this reeks of, opening a can of worms if a police department nationwide thinks that relatives of a very high-profile murder suspect like Bryan Kohberger, any of his relatives, like his parents or even himself, could be basically, corresponding to or relating to some completely separate crime, completely separate case that they can go get a subpoena, bring them before a grand jury, and question them. You're saying that is just de rigueur. That is standard. They can do that, right? No?
No. They can't
Okay.
testify. They can't call the parents to testify that they were called as witnesses in another potential case. No.
Okay.
But the fact that the other case exists, the fact that there may be some evidence to link the two cases, maybe. And as to character traits that are relevant in this case in Idaho, yes. So I think that the question if the question is whether the parents can come and testify about the fact that they were called as witnesses in this grand jury, absolutely not. No, they can't.
Okay, yeah, because essentially, I should have started with this, because this was the link there. The woman's disappearance, Dana Smithers in Pennsylvania, it was close to the Kohberger parents' home there and the school where Bryan Kohberger went there in Pennsylvania. So it seems like that was really some of the connection that.
All right. So she's saying that whatever happens in there really can't be shared. I mean, it can be shared, but it can't be brought up in trial. So if he's a suspect in Dana Smithers, they can't use that against him in Idaho. Willow, I agree. Willow said the grand jury is looking at that missing girls case because obviously something ties back to him and his parents. Something's there. I mean, it's really strange. I just don't believe that that's going to come out and that it's not going to be true. Let's watch another video on this same thing. This is from actual Fox News. This is a shorter clip.
The parents of Bryan Kohberger went before a Pennsylvania grand jury, possibly looking into the disappearance and death of a young mother named Dana Smithers. Her remains were found about 30 minutes from where Kohberger's parents live. The police say Bryan Kohberger is not a suspect. So why talk to the parents? Is there another explanation? Paul, what do you make of this? The grand jury hears from the parents, but the police say he's not a suspect.
Okay, this is good.
What do you make of that?
So, Trey, there are a couple of possibilities here. The first one is fairly prosaic. It could just be that in relation to the Dana Smithers case, the grand jury wants to confirm the alleged alibi that Bryan Kohberger supposedly has that washes him out of that case so completely. And so they could be asking the parents to just give them some anecdotal information that goes to that, stuff that may indicate where he was and when he was there. But the second possibility is a little bit more intriguing, and that is Monroe County grand jury is empowered to look into crimes within that jurisdiction. Are the crimes that they're looking into that potentially involve Bryan Kohberger's parents, are they potentially related to something that occurred in Idaho? Could be something unrelated to Idaho. Could be something that the parents are mixed up in. We don't know that. I'm not alleging that, but it could be something completely different. Yeah. But it also could be something that goes to the Idaho case. And the most intriguing aspect of this, and this is what's really interesting, is that apparently the judge in the Pennsylvania case has allowed a sharing order. What does that mean? That means that the information from the grand jury in Pennsylvania, which is normally to be kept secret, is allowed to be shared with the court out in Idaho. That argues that somebody thinks there could be something relevant to the Idaho case going on in Pennsylvania.
There was no hostage taking, there was no nothing, just a crime and gone.
Is that the police told you?
Well, yeah, there was no burglary apparent. Everything was where it was, so.
Okay, so that was the Moscow mayor that just auto-played. But what do you guys think? I mean, he's saying the same thing. Why talk to the parents? For what reason? If he's not a suspect, it makes no sense. So let's dive in a little deeper, shall we? And I went perusing on Reddit last night. And I'm going to share some of the posts that I found on the Reddits. This is in the Dana Smithers forum. And I thought this was interesting because it was a year ago. Okay. And this says 12 days late. Whatever that means. The name is 12 days late. Now, if you watch me, you know, watch me, you know that I think that Bryan Kohberger was inside and outside looking on Reddit. So let's just play a game tonight. Bear with me here. Hear me out.
Shall we play a game?
So hear me out. This is in the Dana Smithers Reddit. Here's one of the posts, and I felt that it was so odd that someone would be this fascinated with the Dana Smithers case. This information is so bare bones that I can't even formulate a theory. I wonder if law enforcement has access to her phone records. I hope so. In terms of just general likelihood, I would say it's most likely, in they're using italics as well, that she somehow encountered someone on the short walk home and something awful happened. I am partially basing that on the fact that I don't believe her mother or child would want to harm her. Now, when Dana Smithers went missing, her mother and her 7-year-old child were at her mother's house where she lived with her child. She walked down the street to a friend's house, took her phone, took her stuff with her. Then she walked home. Her phone and all her stuff was found in her mother's house, but no Dana. So it says, I am partially basing that on the fact I don't believe her mother or child would want to harm her. My answer of what is most likely might change is if there was someone else in the home at the time she arrived home, a boyfriend or something. How tragic. Yes, I know, mother. And then they put this asterisk for a footnote. A fucking footnote. They're writing a Reddit post like it's a damn term paper.
Bryan Kohberger.
So footnote. Yes, I know mothers harm their kids. It is statistically rare for a mother to harm her adult daughter. Okay, so now he's statistically talking about crime statistics and using footnotes. So then we have, let's see. Let's move on to the next screenshot. Okay, here is the next one. It says the name is Lee Tennant. And they're at 12 days late. Wait, 12 days late. What was the name of the movie his sister was in? What was the name of the movie the sister was in? Someone Google that real quick. Okay, so Lee Tennant says, I just had a conversation with someone that is close to this family. We both live near Stroudsburg, and I found the story heartbreaking and fascinating. This person shared their theory on who they believe is responsible for her disappearance, but it's all speculation with no physical evidence. I hope their family finds out what happened to Dana, and if there was foul play, I pray to God that there is justice. At 12 days late is on the right track of what most likely occurred, according to my source. 2 days back? And this is what? What was that one? 12 days late? Holy. I can't. All right, next screenshot. This one is from Chipmeister111. I'm terribly sorry that this woman is missing, and I hope she will be discovered safe, ... I'm sure the family has considered this. Although I'm not hearing anything being mentioned, regarding the fact that Bryan Kohberger, spelled wrong, was residing less than 25 miles away from Dana's residence. He just graduated from DeSales in June of 2022, which meant that he was living in Chestnut Hill Township, which is basically a 30-minute, 30-mile straight shot from Stroudsburg. This was 240 days ago. When was 204 days ago? We need a mathematician in chat. So this one's throwing his name out there and then spelling the last name wrong. Depending on when this 204 days ago was. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Hey, Suzanne, I know. This. Hold up. Okay, so Stacy is Dana's mother. I believe, yeah. Stacy told Dateline that Dana has 3 children. Now listen to their ages. A 25-year-old son. And this is when she went missing. So this was in, 2022. Early 2022. And it says she has a 25-year-old son, a 23-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old daughter. According to Stacy, Dana's children are her whole world. Quote, she didn't do anything that didn't involve her kids. That was her thing. I mean, she was always there with the kids. January the 3rd. Right after Kohberger was arrested, someone had put that together. Wow. Right, straight away they put it together. And here is Dana and her daughter, I believe. And I'm sorry there's a little bar on that, but now, not to victim shame, but you have to be honest here. Dana had been into heroin in the past. And we know that Bryan Kohberger also was into heroin. Could that be a connection? I don't know. Here's another person that posted on Web Sleuths over and over and over and over again about Dana Smithers. It's the weirdest post. These ones stood out to me. This was posted June 20th, 2022. And this person is Cara Dana. This case has my heart aching as we share a name, an approximate age, a child of the same age, and live only about an hour apart. I admire how she was working so hard to live well. Anyone who is described as taking an anxiety med religiously has my respect for her self-awareness and self-care. I imagine if I were close with her, I'd be loath to commentate on past relationships, especially given a vulnerable child. I am confident police are looking at that, statistically speaking. I ask this next part as a woman who likes her glass of wine at night. Is there a possibility that after a rockin' festival and rather late, she was inebriated? No judgment here. Curious about possibility of confusion. And then Blondie in Spokane likes it. Can't make it up.
What?
Blondie in Spokane. Spokane, Washington. All right, so that one, I don't know if these have anything to do with him. I just found those to be interesting. So Dana Smithers was at the first annual, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the first annual street festival right by her house there in Stroudsburg. And they had like live music, they had food, and Dana and her ex and the child, the 7-year-old, went to this festival together. Apparently her and her ex had an amicable breakup, and they took the child and did things together with the child. And they went to that festival that day. And then when they got home, Dana left the 7-year-old with her mother, walked down to her girlfriend's house, her girlfriend was going to bed, so they hung out for a little bit. Dana asked her to come back and hang out at her house. She said, no, I'm going to bed. Dana left, and Dana was never seen again. However, her phone, her purse, all of her belongings were found in the house. In the house. All right, so then our next one is going to be... Ooh, yeah, we're not to him yet. Hang on. I'm just going to show you. I went through the Stroudsburg Police Department Facebook. So basically like their blotter, okay? Now on the 20th was when that post was made, right? July 20th of 2022. Now this happened on July 19th of 2022 at 11:37 p.m. The Stroud Area Regional Police Department was dispatched to the East Stroudsburg borough side of the Broadhead Creek below the Veterans Memorial Bridge for a male who was reported to be face down in the water. Upon arrival, the male was recovered from the water and brought to the shoreline. SARPD detectives were contacted and responded to the scene. The male was pronounced dead by the Monroe County Coroner's Office on Wednesday, 7/20/22 at 2:50 a.m. The white male was identified as 59-year-old Kevin Bathier, who was currently homeless. The cause and manner of death has not been determined. An autopsy is scheduled for July 21st, 2022. And I could not find any updates on this man. No updates. Here is another one. This is from 2020. Another press release. The day after Christmas. So 12/26/20 at approximately 7:15 p.m. The Stroud Area Regional Police responded to the 200 block of Washington Street in East Stroudsburg for a reported stabbing. Now, this is in 2020. How old was Bryan Kohberger 3 years ago? 25. Upon arrival, a 25-year-old male from East Stroudsburg was found lying on the ground bleeding from a laceration to his lower back. The male was transported to a local hospital for treatment. The public is not in any danger, as this is currently believed to be an isolated incident. This incident is currently under investigation by the SARPD Detective Unit. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Dan Knowles at that number or at that email. 25-year-old male stabbed in his lower back. But guess what? He didn't die. So did he see who did it to him? Did he know who did it to him? Same thing though. Public not in danger. This is believed to be an isolated incident. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Excuse me. Here's another interesting one. October 21st, 2020. The Stroud Area Regional Police is making the public aware of numerous theft from vehicle incidents that took place sometime earlier today on Chestnut Street and the surrounding area in the borough of East Stroudsburg. We are asking for the public's assistance. If anyone has any information on these incidents, plural, contact Officer Mike Palmer. And then they tell you to lock your doors. Now, remember the girl with the undies? Oh my God, Jax. November 13th is 12 days after Halloween. Wonder if that's tied to the name 12 Days Late. Wow, that's something. Holy smokes. Yikes, man. I mean, he really could have been plotting this for a long time. It's really scary. So here is, let's see. Okay, here's another one in 2020 from East Stroudsburg. Homicide. On Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, at approximately 5:05 p.m., the Stroud Area Regional Police were dispatched to the area of Cornerstone Way and Lilium Lane in Stroud Township for an unresponsive black male observed lying in the grass on the side of the roadway. The male was transported by ambulance to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. An autopsy was conducted on Thursday, April 2nd, 2022. The cause of death was determined to be multiple stab wounds to the torso area. The identity of the victim is not being released at this time. This is an active, ongoing investigation. Detectives are asking for the public's assistance in identifying a vehicle seen leaving the area in which the victim was found. Anyone with information on the vehicle in the picture is asked to call Detective Robert Transu. Now look at the vehicle. It's a This is the car of the person they think stabbed this person they didn't name. So when did Kohberger buy the Elantra? Do we even know? I think somebody looked up his Carfax thing. Thank you, Shell, for sending me those docs. We'll do those in another stream. Lots of new Kohberger docs to go over. We'll be doing that this weekend. Very, very strange, right? Ooh, it's thundering again. Hold on, I'm just sending myself another video to play for you guys. Okay. Okay, here's more of the car. Hold up. So that's the car the person was driving that stabbed this man they never identified. And I can't find any updates on these people. Like none. Okay, and then we have this story here from Stroudsburg. July, did I do the July 19th? Yes. Okay, let me make sure. This guy here, I can't with him. This guy is also wanted. And now I'm trying to figure out which one was he attached to. So he's attached to this, okay? The thefts from the vehicles, this dude. This dude was thieving from the vehicles. Now, call me crazy. And you can. But remember when Ted Bundy had all his different looks? This, I don't know. This was the guy. I know the nose doesn't match, but this is the guy that was thieving from cars. Apparently. Who is still wearing crew neck undershirts? I'll tell you who.
Bryan Kohberger.
Bryan Kohberger wears those damn undershirts. And I went over this with Robin earlier. Look. Look, it's so Bryan Kohberger-ish to wear an undershirt. Look. He wears undershirts under all his button-ups. Oh, I know, it's Don Johnson. Is he wearing those glasses with the nose on them? Oh my God. I feel like he's wearing glasses with the nose on them. I'm losing it now. I think I'm losing my mind. Barbie Kohberger. I don't know. It's pretty creepy, man. I gotta find a better picture of him to the side. Hold on.
Bryan Kohberger.
Hold on, I got one. Wait, this is him when he graduated. It definitely would not be his nose. He would have to wear a fake nose because the noses don't match. But what if he was in disguise? I mean, who has a head and a neck like that? I don't know, you guys. People think I'm crazy for thinking these things, but I see so many different similarities in what he's done as far as freaking different serial killers he's emulated and everything else. Well, I'll have to call the Stroudsburg police and I'll ask them. Teresa says, do you want another overlay? No more overlays, please. Oh my God, you guys crack me up. But let's get to this last case that I think he could be possibly involved in. Now, this one was on there April 1st. April 1st, 2020. So that's the one with the car. Okay, April 1st, it was multiple stab wounds to the torso area. It's an active, ongoing investigation. I'm going to call tomorrow and find out if these are still active or if they are closed. I'll just ask about these because they're on their Facebook and they have not said that they found them or, solved it, which is interesting. So this guy in 2020, hang on. I'm going to show them that right now. Okay, his name is Anthony Counterman. And Anthony Counterman grew up in Stroudsburg, same age as Bryan Kohberger. He ended up moving to North Carolina, though. And Anthony Counterman, let me look up his case really fast. I'll tell you exactly what happened. All right, so this happened October 7th, 2022, this man was found dead. Anthony Counterman. Now check this out. And like I said, you guys, I got this right from the Stroudsburg Police Facebook. I just went back in time and kept scrolling to see if there was anything weird that went on there, kind of like how I looked, you know, in Moscow when we looked at the blotter and stuff. Let me close some of these out. Okay, so this is Anthony right here. It says, PA man post chilling message on Facebook days before fisherman found his body. Tomorrow is not promised, so you have to live life and do the things you want to do. Now, Anthony Counterman is a self-proclaimed drug dealer. He even said on his Facebook page that he's a drug dealer. Now listen to this. On September 27th of last year, he posted on his Facebook page, "You have to make a change in life at some point in time." On Friday, October 7th, Counterman was found dead. A fisherman discovered the 26-year-old former Stroudsburg man's body in the water of Pocono Creek near Tannet Road in Stroud Township around 9:15 a.m. Stroud Area Regional Police said his body was recovered about 3 hours later. An autopsy will be conducted, but the cause and manner of death were undetermined. Counterman is a Stroudsburg native, but was most recently a resident of Greenville, North Carolina. The Pennsylvania State Police, Monroe County Coroner's Office, Monroe County Sheriff's Department, Suburban EMS, Stroud, Bushkill, and Shawnee Fire Departments all helped the Stroud Area Regional Police Department. And I can find no updates that they ever arrested anyone in this case. I never found a cause of death. This is the creek he was found in. The Pocono Creek near 9th Street and Route 80 on the afternoon of October 7th, 2022. Now, Bryan would have been in Pullman, correct? In October of 2022, he was getting ready to do what he did, allegedly. But they were dispatched to the area of Tannet Road in Stroud Township around 9:15 a.m. on October 7th after a fisherman discovered what he believed to be a dead body in the creek. Responding officers did locate the body, which was recovered from the water around 12:15 p.m. Pennsylvania State Police closed a stretch of I-80 temporarily during the recovery process. According to a post on Monroe County Fire Wire's Facebook page, firefighters had to rappel down from I-80 in order to recover the body. The victim has been identified as Anthony Nicholas Counterman, 26, a white male from Greenville, North Carolina, who was originally from Stroudsburg. The cause and manner of Counterman's death have yet to be determined. According to Monroe County Coroner Tom Yannick, an autopsy originally scheduled for Monday was pushed to Tuesday, though further testing is still required to determine any other information about Counterman's death. No other details are available. So what the heck? I don't know, Diana. Diana says, remember at the beginning there were stories that BK's mom was always obsessed with true crime. I wonder if that has any merit. Marquez. Anthony. Occupation, drug dealer. Nomadic Geo says it's so hard for me to believe that Idaho would have been his K-Booger's first time. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that as well. What I want to do is see where this, like where all these different bodies are found, if they're in the same area. Tanite Road. Tanite Road, Stroudsburg. So by I-80, can someone find out where Dana Smithers was found? This is it right here in the Pocono Creek. Wow. Let's take our little guy down here. So this dude was dumped in this creek here. Someone drove back into there. Weird. And whoever did it probably thought, oh, they'll just think it's a drug deal gone bad. All right, let's see. Do you guys know where Dana Smith... Hey, headphones. I know it was a park. Here is some of the scene from when they recovered Dana. Hold on. There's a video. Wouldn't that be creepy if a white Elantra drove by? Oh, no, he's in prison when they found her. That's right. Okay, a wooded area along Park Avenue in Stroudsburg. And they didn't say what her cause and manner of death are currently undetermined. Interstate 80. Shut up. Interstate 80 at Park Avenue. Interstate 80 at Park Avenue. What the fuck? Lord have mercy. All right, let me find Park Avenue. Oh my God, not too far, really. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? I mean, this guy was dumped. Hang on, let me get my... Let's annotate and draw. Okay. We're about to annotate. I gotta find my drawing tool. Hold on. They were found so close together. Okay, what about that other one? I need to find that one too. 200 block of Washington Street was the 25-year-old. The thefts were on Chestnut Street. Okay, Cornerstone Way and Lilium Lane. A black male laying in the grass on the side of the roadway. Suzanne says looks like there's a bunch of them from 2018 to 22. Very suspicious. Yikes. Dude, I agree. Something ain't right. And if they're investigating all these, it's going to take some time. Like, this isn't going to happen overnight. So I can see why they wouldn't want the public to know about the parents and all that. Okay, so here we have my drawing tool is not working. Anyways, where the Park Avenue thing, where it says Park Avenue and that red thing is, that's where Dana Smithers was found. You see the Park Avenue? And then this dude was found over here. The Pocono Creek, right here. See that? Can you guys see that? Within 1 mile, Mystical Bandit. Yes. Within a mile. I do too, Suzanne. I do too. Very, very close together. Something's going on here. Something's definitely up. Now, check this out. This Anthony guy, I went to his Facebook. He still has his Facebook up. Now, check out this video. This is on Anthony Counterman's page. Watch the kid that coughs. Now, mind you, this is from... It's fucking Kohberger. This is from September 27th, 2015. Hold on. Watch when the guy coughs at the end. You can't mistake that head. What do you guys think? This is the kid that was found murdered in the creek. Let me let me pull it up and slow it down and so you guys can see that guy. But I mean, you got to figure that would be Bryan would have been it was like 8 years ago. 9 years ago. Hold on, Casey. I got to slow it down. Well, you have to remember, this is from 2015. You don't think that looks like it could be BK? Look at the ear. I mean, you got to remember, this is a small area. Like, he was from a small town. And this guy is his age. So they would have went to school together. And this guy's a drug dealer. Bryan got heroin from somebody. Who did he get heroin from? I'm going Regal. What do you mean BK was nowhere around there in 2015? This is where he lived. This was Stroudsburg. This is Stroudsburg. Yeah, it does look like him. These guys are the same age. Well, you can't really tell. It's pixelated. It's an old video. I mean, look how shitty the whole video is. It's not really all that clear. This is in Pennsylvania. And yes, he would be there. What do you mean he wouldn't be there? That's where he lived. He didn't go to WSU until 2022. No, you can't say for certain it's him, but it's a little, isn't it a little coincidental that this guy and Bryan would be the exact same age? They both grew up in Stroudsburg. This dude's a heroin dealer. BK was doing heroin. And then this dude ends up stabbed to death and thrown off a bridge into a creek right by Kohberger's house. I don't know. I don't know. Could be, could not be. Interesting nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, what's the odds of that? The height doesn't add up, and I don't think he would have went there with all those people. When he was doing heroin, though, he was very social, remember? We can't forget what we were told. Is this after he graduated? He was thinner than right. Yeah. He lost 130 pounds, remember? (2020). It looks like that picture when he's going Regal. Hold on. This is what he would have looked like at that time. Sort of like that. It could be a deal gone wrong, for sure. He looks different in every pic, so it's really hard to tell. But I thought it was interesting that a guy that's his age, lived in Stroudsburg, drug dealer, comes back to Stroudsburg in 2020 and gets killed. Stabbed, no less. And it's unsolved. So I'll be making a call to the Stroudsburg to find out if any of these are solved. And then we'll find out, okay? That'll be my next step. I'll call there tomorrow at some point, and we'll find out if any of these are solved. Yeah, someone stabbed him right in the back, in the lower back. No, that was the black guy lower back, wasn't it? I'm going Regal. I just think it's odd, man. This kid ends up stabbed to death, and we'll go to this dude's Facebook. It's on his Facebook. You guys can look at it. His eyebrows aren't very noticeable here. I don't know, you guys. Go to his Facebook, though. It's Anthony something. Cornerstone Way and Lilium Lane. How far is that? Lilium Lane, East Stroudsburg. Oh, Lord. All in the same area. Holy smokers. Holy smokers. These are all really close together. So I'll put together a Google map. We'll look at all the spots for these. I'll call tomorrow, though, and find out first if these are all still open-ended. You never know if they just didn't, update their Facebook. But I'll put these videos and pictures and everything in the Bryan Kohberger Facebook group. If you are not joined, let me go ahead and put that in the chat and then pin it for you guys. We'll pin it in the comments. I'll go put all this crapola in there and you guys. Hold on. So it's literally facebook.com/groups/Bryan Kohberger trial. There it is. So if you guys want to join that, I will go throw everything in there right now. I will pin this also in the comment section. So if you are a replayer, I want to thank you, first of all, for replaying this and hearing me out. I love when you guys hear me out. Thank you for hearing me out. Let's see what transpires next. Let's see where this goes, what comes of it. Anthony Counterman, never know. Marion Ramsey. Jay, I have a question. Was it your show that tried to line up Bryan with the call in from Papa Roger? I was just trying to figure out if that call was Bryan. I don't know about Papa Roger's call. I don't know about that. Could have just been the angle of the video. I don't know. Yeah, go take a look at it. I'll put it in the Facebook group right now. Mark Hayes, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining in on the conversation tonight. And thank you all the members for being here. Thank you new subscribers. We're getting up there. We're gonna hit 90K before you know it. Then you guys get to tell me what you want me to do. What you want me to do, I'll do whatever you want. I love it when you call me Big Pa. Here is the email. Send all the goods there. And thank you so much again for tuning in. Like if you do, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notifications if YouTube decides to send them out. And before we end, I wanted to share this photo, blow it up. We were just talking about how we haven't seen what Kohberger's parents look like. And I just so happened to come across a photograph. And it's the closest that we can get to seeing his mama. So there's his sister, his mom, and his dad. And I was looking at this and I was thinking, I wonder if his sister was a tipster. Because we heard that she thought it was weird, that he was wearing gloves. If she was the tipster, could it be why Dad's kind of hanging back? Is he a little... That's my cue to go. All right, you guys, I am out. Check a Facebook group out. I'm going to put all this stuff in here. See you, Peppy. See you, Shell. See you, Potato. See you, Mike Sanner. See ya, Wouldn't Want to Be a Robin. And anyone else I missed. I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning if you can be here. We're doing Ethan Crumbly. 9 a.m. all day hearing. I need a break from the business, so meet me here at 8:45 tomorrow morning. Stay put, dance it out, and you'll be redirected, Elon Musk style, transported right over to tomorrow's live, so you can click that notification, and then you can go to bed. All right, see you guys. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.
Bryan Kohberger.
I don't really care about you and your
I have to say to N.C. Taylor, the defense lawyer, bring it on, woman.
I have heard enough. about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. Stand up!
Did I ask them to do that?
You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact.
You know Don's full of shit.
I ain't got time for that.
For donuts?
Sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool. Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call.
Hi, Jennifer. Is it one Jennifer or two Jennifers?
Thanks so much, Jennifer.